नमस्कार आपण मानक समस्त को यही वीडियो बहुत बहुत स्वागत। आज वीडियो में आप सहित +3 आर्ट्स इंट्रोडक्शन टू कॉम्पिटिटिव गवर्नमेंट एंड पॉलिटिक्स हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ मॉडर्न गवर्नमेंट 2 यूनिट 3 किसी 2 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन आंसर मैं आपन डिस्कसन करी। आ वीडियो आगक मुझे कहबी आपण मैंने यार पीडीएफ बा नोट्स टी किपर भाव पाइपर। तो यही वीडियो में आपण सहित कौन सबूर क्वेश्चन आंसर सर्टली आम डिस्कसन करवा। जेहेतु आम सब कौन +3 हायर एजुकेशन कर तो मुझे भावुँ आप सब सर्टली डिस्कसन कले बुझीपारे। तो आमको गुड़ाए क्वेश्चन डिस्कसन कर तो आम सब सर्टली डिस्कसन करवा। आउ किसी मु सिलेक्शन क्वेश्चन ही डिस्कसन करी। बाकी क्वेश्चन गुड़िक आम टेलीग्राम ग्रुप रे सब अच्छी आपड़ी जाकि पाइपर। तो चलते स्टार्ट करवा। व्हाट इज सोशलिज्म? सोशलिज्म वाज ए थ्योरी ऑफ द स्पेयर ऑफ स्टेट्स activities came to eradicate the evil associated with the free conception and private property under the individualistic order of the 19th century. Socialism stands for the state ownership of means of production, nationalism of industries and public property, prohibition of private ownership in such policies. ये थे सोशलिज्म मैंने कौन थ्योरी सिद्धांत जो कि स्पेयर ऑफ द स्टेट एक्टिविटी प्रत्येक स्टेट्र जो एक्टिविटी केम टू एडिकेट द इविल्स एसोसिएटेड विथ द फ्री कंपटीशन गोटे फ्री कंपटीशन था इन प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी अंडर द इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक ऑर्डर ऑफ द 19th century. Socialism stand from the state ownership of means of production, nationalization of industries and public property, prohibition on private ownership and such policies. Next देखिबा what is half socialism and half individualism. In India, we have half socialism and half individualism. The state controls the key industries of the country. At the same time, some industries are left to the care of a private sector. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru called this system socialist pattern of society. This has worked well in India. It strikes a middle, of course, between socialism and individualism. Next, where does the word socialism finds its root? Now, for entry Vicent, the word socialism finds its root in the Latin sociera, which means to combine or to share. The related more technical term in Roman and then medieval law was societas. This latter word could mean companionship and fellowship as well as the more legislative idea of a consensual contract between free men. Next, what is mean by what is freedom of conception? The freedom of conception कौन ना in socialist system the consumer's dominance infers that production in a state-owned industry is generally governed by the linking of consumers and the available merchandise are distributed to the customers at fixed price through the state-run department stores. Consumers' dominion under socialism is limited to the choice of socially beneficial commodities. Next, what is the equality of income distribution? In socialist system, there is a great impartiality of income distribution in comparison a free market economy. The removal of private ownership in means of production, private capital accumulation on profit motive under the socialism. About the accrual of large wealth in the hands of a few wealthy person, the unearned incomes in the form of rent, interest and profit to the state which utilize the them to providing free education with free education to equally free public health facilities and social security to the masses. Next, what is Saint Simon's view on socialism? Saint Simon दृष्टि समाजवाद कौन ना द की फोकस ऑफ सेंट Simon's socialism was on administrative deficiency and industrialism and a belief that science was the key to progress. This was accompanied by a desire to implement a rationality organized economy based on planning and grid towards a large scale scientific and material progress, and those embodied a desire for the more directed or planned economy. This is the Saint Simon's view on socialism. Next, what is Anarchism? Anarchism is a political philosophy. Anarchism कौन फर्स्ट ईयर में पढ़ा. Anarchism is a political philosophy that advocates stateless societies, often defined as a self-government voluntary institution, but the several authors have defined as more specific institution based on the non-hierarchical free association. Anarchism holds that the state be under undesirable, unnecessary, or harmful. Next, what are the key difference between social democracy and democratic socialism? Social democracy or democratic socialism कौन difference ବା ପାର୍ଥକ୍ୟ कौन अच्छी ना the major difference between the social democracy and democratic socialism is the object of their politics. Contemporary social democratic support a welfare state and unemployment insurance ought to a mean human size capitalism, whereas a democratic capitalist seek to replace capitalism with a socialist economic system, arguing that any attempt to humanize capitalism through regulation and welfare policies and would resort to the market and create economic contradictions. What is democratic socialism? Democratic socialism generally refers to any political government that seeks to establish an economy based on economic democracy by and for working classes. Some definitions simply refer to all forms of socialism that follow an electoral, reformist, or revolutionary path to socialism. Rather than a revolutionary one, modern democratic socialism is a broad political movement that seeks to promote the ideals of socialism within the context of democratic system. Democratic socialism means generally refers to a political movement that seeks to establish an economy based on economic democracy by and for the working class. Some definitions simply refer to all forms of socialism that follow an electoral, reformist, or evolutionary path to socialism. Rather than a revolutionary one, modern democratic socialism is a broad political movement that seeks to promote the ideas of socialism within the context of a democratic system. What is liberal socialism? Liberal socialism means liberal socialism is a socialist political philosophy that includes liberal principles, means it सब कौन उदारवाद सिद्धांत पर सब आधारित थिबो. Within in liberal socialism, it does not have the goal of abolishing capitalism with a socialist economy. Instead, it is supporters of a mixed economy that includes both public and private property. In capital goods, liberal socialism has been particularly prominent in British and Italian politics. Next, what is socialist feminism? Socialist feminism is a branch of feminism that focus upon both the public and private spheres of women's life and argue that liberalism can only be achieved by working to end both the economic and cultural source of women's operation. What is eco-socialism? Eco-socialism means green socialism or socialist ecology is a political position merging aspects of Marxism, socialism, and or libertarian socialism with that of green politics, ecology, and alter globalization. Eco-socialists generally believe that the expansion of capitalist system is the cause of social exclusion, poverty, war, and environmental degradation through globalization and imperialism under the supervision of the responsive state and transitional structures. Next, what is syndicalism? Syndicalism is social movement that operates through industrial trade unions and rejects states socialism and the use of establishment politics to establishment of promote socialism. They reject using state power to construct a socialist society, favoring strategies such as the general strike. Syndicates advocate a socialist economy based on federative unions or syndicates of workers who own and manage the means of production. Next, what is colonialism? Colonialism is a relationship between an indigenous majority and a minority of foreign invaders. The fundamental decisions affecting the lives of the colonized people are made and implemented by the colonial rules in pursuit of interests that are often defined in the distant metropolis, rejecting cultural and compromises with the colonized population. The colonizers are convinced of their own superiority and other ordained mandate to rule. Colonialism is a relationship between the indigenous means diversity of imported majority and a minority of foreign invaders. The colonialism उपनिवेशवाद. The fundamental decisions affecting the lives of the colonized people made implemented by the colonial rule. सब से rule से तक करेंगे in pursuit of the interest of the that are often define the decent metropolis, rejecting cultural compromises with the colonized population. The colonizers are convinced of their own supercity and their ordainment to rule. Next, what is the features of colonialism? The features of colonialism have been exploitation of raw materials, natural resources, and selling of finished goods, and also creating condition for economic dependency. Economy of the colonies was no doubt affected by adversely by colonialism. There were devastating impacts on the agriculture and industry of the colonies too. When did the modern colonialism start? Modern colonialism started with the age of discovery. Portugal and Spain, the crown of Castle, encountered the Central and South America through sea travel and the built trading ports of conquered large extension of land. For some people, it is the building of colonies across ocean that differentiate colonialism from the other types of expansionism. What is imperialism? The imperialism is a regional or global system arising from colonialism and based on the political, economic, and military control. For example, Rome controlled much of Western Europe, North Africa, and Middle East. Its influence the extended into Eastern Asia. Within this vast empire, Rome stood as the capital with wealth, resources, and selves flowing to it from all is it is called imperialism. Imperialism is called is a regional or global system arising from colonialism. Colonialism ସବୁ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହେଇଛି and based on the political ଉପରେ based economic and military control ଆକୁ ଅର୍ଥନୈତିକ ଆଉ military ସବୁ control କରୁଛନ୍ତି. For example, Rome control much of Western Europe, North Africa, and Middle East. It is influence extending into Eastern Asia. Within the vast empire, Rome stood as the capital with wealth, resources, and self following to it from all around. Trade loose to Rome. Next, what is the meaning of neocolonialism? Neocolonialism means a new colonialism. It involves that use of state found native government, business, and organization to indirectly control indigenous people. In Canada, for example, the government spent billions of dollars annually to maintain a system of neocolonialism funding brand councils, originally political organization, as well as social programs, arts and culture, etc. Next, name of the stages of colonialism. There are 4 stages of colonialism. These are recon, invention, occupation, and assimilation. What are the attributes of colonial government? Now, the political system were undemocratic. Colonial rule was imposed without consent. The colonial governments lacked capacity, and colonial governments practiced divided and rule are the attributes of the colonial government. What do we mean by anti-colonialism? Anti-colonial struggle or anti-colonialism refers to protest or fight against colonial rulers by the suppressed colonies. Anti-colonial struggle picked up its movement during the 20th century. The fight against colonial power started due to rise of nationalism in the Europe of countries. Rise of fascism and Nazism are the significant landmark which helped in the spread of nationalist ideas in the colonies under the foreign rules across the world. This is called anti-colonialism. Anti-colonialism simply we said anti-colonial struggle for anti-colonialism refers to protest for fight against colonial rulers by the suppressed colonies. How do we understand decolonization? Decolonization is a process by which colonies became independent from the imperial powers. It refers to undoing of colonialism. तो आम 2 मास क्वेश्चन डिस्कसन कले जदि आप पीडीएफ चाहती डिस्क्रिप्शन में मोर टेलीग्राम ग्रुप्र लिंक दे देछि से जॉइन होतु आप सब नोट्स पाइपर। तो थैंक यू टू ऑल ऑफ ऑल वाचिंग दिस वीडियो।